Test. All right, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a great weekend. If you can type in the chat, let me know that you can hear me. That would be great. Hopefully you guys do, but you never know until you tell me. I'm guessing. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Good morning, Ron. You can hear me okay? Great, John. Thank you so much. All right, so let's just kind of recap what's happened so far. Quickly, markets just opened, actually, so let's pay attention to the YM, and then we'll recap what's happened. So the Dow E-mini with the 8:30 start time, still flat, waiting for our first trade, so let's keep an eye on that. Everything else has kind of already happened. We know that our 9 a.m. start time on crude oil has done its thing. The pound Aussie is still going. I don't want to miss a trade here on the Dow E-mini. I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger here and just kind of fiddle around with these charts while we're looking. Oh, there we go. Heads up. Short on the YM. 34,977. Moving fairly quickly. Try to catch it on a pullback if you can. And that has a stop of 35,023, and it just triggered in. It's targeting 34,937, 916. If you're going for the larger targets, 895 and 874. Let's take a look at this. So this is a trade off of the 50 moving average. It's pushing down to new swing lows. We need to get to this level here for break even. So if we can get to 34,941, you're going to want to move your stops down to break even. It's already down 190, almost 200 points. 200 points this morning. So definitely some selling to start the week. We'll see how long that lasts. All right, so the Dow E-mini, that trade going. I'm just going to put it right back up in the corner here. We'll keep an eye on it. And let's look at the pound Aussie really quick because this is going live still. And there was a short trade here right before the start time. It did trigger in at 8:30, short at 85.89. You can see your targets here, 85.74. Heads up on the YM. The YM's looking like it wants to touch that money management level. It got as low as 46. We want to get to 41. So we got to get 5 ticks lower so we can move our stops to break even. Hopefully it'll get there. All right, so that's going. And you know with Spotlight, when you're in a short trade, all the bars turn red. Nothing to do, but possible stop and reverse. That's going to be at, I think we're going to want to adjust it up to 80. I want to go as high as 86 because I really want to stay short if I can. I know it's a big adjustment, but there's a swing level here at 84. I'm sorry. Yeah, 86. We're going to call 86 a stop and reverse adjustment and see if we can stay short. If it does get long at 86, our target will be 35,008, 24, 39, and 55, and the stop will be at 34,944. So we're trying to protect the short position by adjusting our long entry, and let's make the price push higher and see if we can stay short. So a similar maneuver saved the pound Aussie trade, and I'll show you that in a moment. But while this is so close to an actionable move here, there it is. So cancel the long trade, move your stops to break even Actually, the stop is going to move not to break even. The stop is going to move now to 58, 2 ticks above, plus your stop, your key level adjustment. So stops go to 58 and it just stopped out. The short trade is over. It hit its target objective for 40 points. And the YM is one and done. And you see how we avoided getting long here? I know we talk about this all the time, but I always want to point it out to you. Not only did I make the 2-tick adjustment from 81 to 83, which is our standard approach, but I also respected the 20 SMA, which happened to be right above the little swing level to the left. So I respected the price action showing on the chart in addition to our typical key level adjustment, and that was necessary because it did stab up to 83. We would have gotten long and then short and wouldn't have been very nice. But because of the tiny, paying attention to the chart, letting the chart and the price action speak to you, if you will, right? Because it's right there. Tiny little adjustment on a good sized trade, right? I always look for multiple reasons to do things, and you could see that there were multiple reasons to make that extra adjustment. Paid off as it came down and hit its target one for a one and done session. Target one being the primary objective on the 14-point momentum bar, and that's 40 points, $200 per contract. So if you took that trade and followed along, well done. Hopefully you guys understand. Good morning, Miles. Good morning, Brett. Good morning, Johnny. Johnny's first day today. Say a big hello to Johnny Money Pro. Welcome, welcome. All right, so back to the pound Aussie. The pound Aussie got short. Like I said, 85, 89. You could see there was a long setup here, and that was at 86.01. Making the typical 2-pip adjustment, prevented the long trades, keeping short, and then it came down and hit target 1. The stop is now 2 pips above our balance line, which is 8.5, put it 8.586. After adjusting, we'll call it 8.586. Give that trade as much room as it can. It's hit targets 1, it's hit target 2, target 1 and 2 for 15 pips, 25 pips. The stop is moved down because, well, the stop is now following this trade, right? Because the system thinks it got long and then short. But we know it didn't because we always adjust our stop and reverse. So we're still in this trade. So you got to follow this trade. And we'll put our stop 2 pips above the green line as each bar closes, going down. So when this bar closes, there's a good chance that stop is going to move to 81. It looks like 77 to 79. 2-pip adjustment over the key level of 80 makes it 81. But let's let that bar close first. Any questions on the pound Aussie, let me know, but that's going to be a one and done. Hello, 54 Brad. All right, let's look at crude oil. Crude oil, of course, starting at 9 this morning. And look at crude. Crude got into a trade way back here at 7. So we just have to move forward and see, can we get in sync with this trade at 9? Remember, if it has not hit its money management level, nor is it stopped out, then right at 9, if we can grab the entry, then that trade counts as part of the trade plan. So 9 a.m. is here, and then it went up to here, and it would have triggered in. So this trade is the first trade of the day. Getting in on one of these bars, right? You can see the entry. And then it came down and it hit a 26.10 tick target 1 for 260 bucks. And let's shrink this down a little so we can just, actually, I'll just draw some lines. Yeah, so we could see that it also hit target 2 and target 3. See? So that was a really nice trade. Then it stopped out here. So the 9 a.m. start time for Spotlight and crude oil, 26 ticks, 40 ticks, 54 ticks. If you had 3 positions, not counting the trailer, that's over $1,000 right there. Almost 1,200 bucks. One and done. And of course, the next trade won too, but we're already done. We don't need the next trade. And that's how it works. So crude oil one and done. Spotlight, Master Suite continuing to perform well. YM one and done. Pound Aussie one and done. Crude oil one and done. Great way to start the week, even though the markets are down 240 points. Our day trading's up, up, up. So a few other things we can look at here. Let's take a peek at unleaded gas, because that's one of our standard plans of the morning. Looking at a 9 a.m. start time, and you can see we don't have any trades. Gray means flat. And actually, there were some trades, but they were filtered out, which is one of those cases where the filter actually hurts, because both these setups would have been nice winners, but because of the EMA crossing over and not having enough bars. Actually, here's the thing. This is a nuance. It's not written in the code, but it's definitely written in the strategy, if you will. And that is, once you get past that 7th bar, if you could still get the entry, you can get in sync with that gray trade. So if you're sophisticated with Spotlight, you should know that you can get the trade after the magenta bar, because it had not yet hit its money management, it had not yet stopped out, and that trade you could see would be a big winner. Look at a perfect target 4. Okay, because the filter doesn't want you going long against the 50 moving average as it crosses down below the 200 for the first 7 bars or 8 bars. But once that 8th bar passes, I mean, the setup's still good. You can still grab it right there. So that's why I show the filtered out trades in gray, in case you opt to use them. You see? By the way, please hit the like button. It helps us with our channel. So if you haven't done so yet, I'd appreciate it. Let's say you didn't take this trade because it's gray and it's filtered out, and you're like, gray means flat, and you're just like not thinking you can get in sync with this particular filter. If it comes off, then you're looking for your next trade. It becomes the green one here at 9:37. You have to wait a full 37 minutes. Gets short, and that one also hitting targets 1 and 2, just barely missing target 3 and then stopping out. You'd be one and done anyway. So kind of hitting on all cylinders with Spotlight Master Suite today. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's take a quick look at Counterpunch for a second, and then I'll show you some of these other exciting bars that you can be using with any of these strategies. But I wanted to look at, see how soybeans did this morning, soybean futures with Counterpunch. I know we need to be doing some catapult grains. This is a long-running strategy that's worked really well. If you get in sync with the 830 short here, you're going to get filled right in this area. It comes down. It does come up, and it is blue. You could switch over to long, but you have to make the adjustment 12.14.50 either to 12.15 or 12.15 and a quarter. It hits 12.15. So it's possible you got long here, and it wouldn't be a mistake because we really don't do key level adjustments on the quarter point tick charts. So short here, long here, and just this pretty bad price action. We'll see if it heads lower or goes up. But so far, unless you made one more tick adjustment, or if this happens so fast that you couldn't execute on it, looks like it had plenty of time, but it's hard to know how much time it lived up here. So if, I don't know, let me know if you're in this trade or what you're doing with it. This one, you can see the price action, this up, down, that's the kind of price action that no one ever wants to get caught up in. You just have to go with your trade setups and let the trade unfold the way it unfolds. Again, please, if you have any questions, let me know. You could see that the pound Aussie, the stop did just move down to 85. Let's see, the balance line's at 71. So the stop would be at 73 right now. 73. And good morning to you, Ranjit. Haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to see you. We were looking at the YM on that first trade of the morning that came down and hit target 1 before stopping out. You could see what's happening next, but again, once you're one and done, I would just say that's pretty darn good. You don't need more. Let's look at the unleaded, the Russell E-mini. The Russell E-mini, I'm thinking this chart here, I'm going to replace it with something else. I don't have a tested plan yet. We've kind of been following this 1.5 point momentum bar. Just not sure of it. And since we don't really follow it, I thought of following this instead. This is a catapult chart using a 6-point momentum bar on the NQ. I really like it. I think it's really good, and I think you guys might like it a lot too if you spend some time with it. The setups give you all kinds of opportunities to quit with a positive result. I have noticed that the first couple minutes maybe is rough because these bars move really fast. So, and this is a special configuration too. If you want, I can show you what it is. But if you wait, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, it starts to make a lot more sense. Even though here you have a trade that does hit a target 1. I have my money management actually set for, I think, target 2. Because I want to give this trade every room, all the room it can for trailing. It's not target 2, actually. It's target 1. Well, actually, it's this bar. Let's see. I probably have add-on trains turned on. Let me just do something really quick. This is looking complicated. I'll show you. We'll go over these settings, but I really like how this looks. Graphics. No. I forget where I have the... Short trade add-on. Where do I have the add-ons? I don't even remember. Plot add-ons right there at B10. Oh, it is false. Huh. Oh, this one stops out. That's why. Okay. Yeah, it's this one then. Yeah, so I'm leaning towards making an 8:34 start time. That's Central Time, right? Because the NQ's traded out of Chicago. Just giving a few minutes for all the flurry of orders to come in. And I noticed that once you wait a couple minutes, you start getting some really nice setup. So the configuration on this, let me just show you what it is in case you want to follow along with Catapult. I have a 6-tick entry and an 8-tick stop. So if you know anything about Catapult, you know we usually go with a 2-tick entry and a 1-tick stop as a default, but it does depend on the market, and this is a 6-point custom Renko bar, so you get maybe a 6-point body and even more on the tail. So I wanted to give it more room because it needed it, but then I made the targets bigger as a result. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Instead of 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Much bigger targets. Okay, so that's required when you have a higher offset for your entries and stops. And then I need it to go to target 1 and 44 ticks, which is 11 points. So it has to go to target 1 and 11 points before moving the stop to break even. And I use the automation to optimize this number. So it's a case of using the automation to get a big picture, a big question answered, right? Like, when's the best time to move to break even? I use the optimization to discover that. But to start trailing, I do that sooner. Well, I don't do it sooner. I have to go to target 2 and 12 ticks total. So that's 44 ticks is 11 points. 12 ticks is 3 points. Always target 2 will be bigger than that. So you don't start trailing until target 2. You don't break even until you've hit target 1 and have gone 11 points. Understand? And with that, you give the trade room to develop with the larger entry and the larger stop and really nice risk-reward ratios. And to give you an idea what I mean, on this trade here, target 1, that's pretty good. It's 86 cents to $1, so to speak. So it's not quite 1-to-1. We're not taking profit at target 1 anyway. But look at targets 2, 3, and 4. You get the really nice risk-reward ratios, and those are the ones you want to take profit at. Johnny Money Pro asking about money management. He says, I have money management set. I've heard money management used several times as a charting level. Please define. Yeah, money management can mean so many things. And with our trade plan and the big picture usage of that term, money management is how we manage our money, right? It's how, whether we put 2% risk on the trade, where we, placing stops, basically managing our money from the bigger point of view. But we also use it on a trade-to-trade point of view. So money management, when you're in a trade, is in reference to when you move the stop to either cut risk or break even. All right, so that's the money management maneuver inside of a trade. So it's a good question, and it could be confusing because we use that term in different ways. Again, the big picture term of money management, it's one of the 3 pillars of the 3-legged stool, one of the 3 legs, right? You have your 3-legged trading stool, which is trade methodology, money management, and trade psychology. And the money management aspect refers to how you manage your money, how much risk you put on a trade, for example, how you increase your position size as you grow your account or decrease it with drawdown. That's all money management. On a trade-to-trade basis, just to repeat what I just said, when we're in a trade, we have what we call the money management level. And when the price hits that level, it means that the stop is going to move and cut risk or eliminate risk on the trade. We often refer to it as the level. So look at this. When I click on this trade setup right here, if we look in the data window, we're going to see, does this not have a money management? Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Spotlight. Entry, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I thought it had a money management level. Let me show you on Spotlight. I thought it was in that tool. So like, for example, on this crude oil trade, that little dot, that's a pinprick right there, that's the money management level. And when you click on it, you can see it says SMM, short money management. And it's at 883.26, which is what that level is. So when the bar comes down and hits that, that's when the stop moves from here to here after the bar closes. You see? That's the money management level. I thought Catapult had that. Guess not. I mean, we have the money management capabilities, but I guess there's no little dot that shows you where it is, and it doesn't say in the data window. Huh. I don't know why I assumed it did. I guess I've just looked at so many of these for so long, it all blends. But anyway, that's what it means. Good question. Let me know if you need a follow-up on that. So the money management level was hit because it hit target 1 and went 11 points, 44 ticks. So target 1, you could see, was 9.25 points. That's what that means. That's the reward to target 1. That wasn't enough to move the stop. It had to also go a little further to do the full 11 points, and it didn't do that on this bar. It did it on this bar. And then that's when the stop moved down and started trailing the purple line in this case. Yeah, no MM marker in Catapult. Probably needs that. Maybe if I do a new edition, we'll add that. Yeah, hopefully that explains it, Johnny. I know it's weird getting used to the terminology. I know this is your first day here, so please feel free to continue to ask any questions that you have. So if just looking at this Renko bar, it's really interesting. You get these really nice moves. And the way I have it set up is I've got the body of the bar is set to 6 points, right? That's 24 ticks on the NQ, quarter-point ticks. And it also has a 2-point offset. So 2 points is 1/3 of 6. So I choose the size of the bar and then set my offset for 1/3 of the size of the bar. And I've been using that formula for other types of charts as well on other symbols. For example, on crude oil, we like an 8-tick momentum bar, but there's no clean 1/3 offset or 1/3 of 8. So you can go to 9 or you can go to 6, right? So if you go to a 6-tick Renko bar, it would be a 2-tick offset. If you go to a 9-tick Renko bar, it would be a 3-tick offset. Okay. YM 14 doesn't really have a 1/3, but 15 does. Go to a 15 Renko and a 5 offset, or you can go to a 12 Renko and a 4 offset. Makes sense? You'll see these charts look really nice. So if you wait your 4 minutes, and this is not a developed trade plan, and by the way, this is the micro NQ. So that means instead of $20 a point, it's only $2 a point. Instead of $5 a tick, it's 50 cents a tick. Morning, Pamela. Over 336,000 contracts. So this micro NQ has really picked up in popularity, and I think it trades excellent. And you could use this Renko bar with Spotlight, Counterpunch, or Catapult, and I think all three would do excellent. Okay, so if you don't have Catapult, you might be thinking, oh gee, well, what do I do? Well, put it on Spotlight, or put it on. In fact, let's look at a few on some of the other strategies. But let me just show you. You might want to also consider your power of quitting, because there's so many great trades that you're going to see. I mean, look at this. Beautiful, huh? Plus, you can make a looser stop. Maybe you want to trade more of a longer term hold. There's a lot you can do. Finally a loser, and then back into a long trade. And it's funny how the Dow E-mini was off like 200 points, and you could see that the NQ just traded back up to break even. So this rally brought it up to break even. What's going on with the Dow? The Dow is still down, but it's cut its losses by nearly half. So if we were to take the same Renko bar idea Got a few others here. Let's look at some. That's a momentum bar. All right, here's one. All right, look at this one. This one, the colors are a little strange. You want to turn the spotlight off. That messes your colors up with Renko. You don't want to have the spotlight colors on, so let me just remember where stuff is. This is going to be in the graphics. Use spotlight. So if you set it to false, it actually looks better. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, see? It looks better. So guess what? This is another really interesting way to use this bar. This is using the diamond level, one setup only, and that's the EMA crossover setup, D10. Notice I have everything else turned off. And then you might want to figure out how many bars you want for max bar for setup after the third dot. That's something that you can use to adjust. But this looks really good if you think about it. Again, just say we're waiting the 4 minutes, all things being equal. Here's one you probably would go to your first target because it's bigger. And look at your R to R is almost 1 to 1. Did I change the targeting on this? Let me just double check. Yeah, so look, I didn't change the targeting on this. This is only a 2-tick entry, a 1-tick stop. Here's your typical spotlight targeting 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Notice on Catapult I went 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. I had a 6-tick entry and a 8-tick stop. This is a 2 and a 2 and the same targeting, but you've got these nice big risk rewards, and that's because it's a much bigger setup, right? It's a multiple bar setup relating to these exhaustion dots, so you get bigger targets. So the first trade, you'd be one and done, starting at 8.34, like I suggested. You do have this here. That was too soon, so you missed that, luckily. If you take another trade, that one's going to lose, and then you get this. So this is an interesting idea. The other thing I changed on this is instead of a 521, I changed the length to 12. So it's the 12 EMA crossing over the 21 instead of the 5. So that's a little bit of a difference. And I just chose that just because. I know another trader that uses the crossover of a 12 and a 21 for a different method, and I thought, well, let's look at it with this, and I did, and it looks really good. So there you go. Sometimes good ideas are formed like that, but that's a really easy way to try this idea. There are certainly others. This is the same 6-point momentum bar, a Renko bar with a 2-point offset. It's a nice bar for the NQ, and for my strategies, it's nice. I like it. And also, of course, micro, giving you all kinds of flexibility with position size and capital requirements. There's a couple others here. Let's see. Did I look at this one? That's the one. Oh, yeah, that's the one we were just looking at with Catapult. And I saw another one here. Let's see. Where is it? This one. Yeah. So what's this? Oh, this is the same. No, this is diff. Is it the same? Looks the same. Maybe different inputs. No, this is the same. I just got two of the same. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and just for the fun of it, let's look at regular spotlight and see how that looks. Let's just turn on our regular spotlight gold, and maybe we'll also turn on our SMA setup like we do with the other charts. Let's take a look at this. Just curious, haven't looked at this yet. It may not be good. Don't see any setups yet. This one, that one loses. Well, we don't have our moving averages to kind of see what's going on. That looks pretty good, though. Look what happens after. So this ends up being a 2-trade session on this one. Let's get the EMAs right. Take a look in context. So we go with, I mean, you could see there's just so much you can do, right? Hopefully you guys see the potential here with this bar. Yeah. Yeah, so it does get into a short here that's not going to work. It's going to stop out, loses 65 ticks, micros, of course, and then you got this one, and look at that. Definitely makes up for that first loss, doesn't it? By the way, target 2 is 64 ticks. So the first trade lost 65 ticks. This one's going to make 42, 64, 86, 108. What's this? 15,128. The trailer. 15,085. Yeah. 15,128. Anyway, I'll let you guys figure it out. A lot. Those are points, not ticks. So if you were to figure 128 minus 85, that's what, 43 points. So multiply that by ticks. You're up to like 170 ticks, give or take, just doing the math crude in my head, versus the 108 target 4. Yeah, your math's about right. Not bad, huh? Let me know what you guys think. I'm just giving you guys some, ideas on other things you can do with these strategies. Haven't really come to grips with the best way to define this trade room yet, since I've got so many new strategies with all the catapults and, let's try to expand your imagination a little bit. I don't know who's using what. Some people here in Counterpunch, some people are here on Spotlight, Catapult. Here's the pound Aussie we were looking at. This trade has hit all its targets and is still going. Remember the stop and reverse adjustment, so we stay with this short trade. Big one and done winner. This will be over 100 pips for sure on today's session on the Trade a Day service and the pound Aussie. We were looking at soybeans a little while ago, and remember I told you short here, stop and reverse here. It did trigger in. It came down, but the stop held. It now has come up, and it's hit a target 1 for 14 ticks. Divide that by 4. It's 3.5 points. 3.5 points. It did lose a little bit. It went from 12.50 to 12.15. So it lost it actually lost 3 points. It lost 3 points, and now it's up 3.5 points. So marginally positive session on soybeans, depending on how many positions one's trading. And of course, this trade's not over yet. But you see how just following the trade plan rules, ignoring the setups that we don't care about, not being afraid to stop and reverse, making the adjustment. The original short trade had a stop way up here, which would have stopped out for a full loss. But instead, we made the adjustment, get the stop and reverse long, cuts that first trade loss in half, while also getting the trade in on the winning side of things. And now it's hit target 1, and the stop has moved up to break even, and who knows what will happen next. But that is what is so exciting about a trade plan, a strategy, and building your belief to the point where you don't overthink it. You rely on the strategy. You do not become emotionally attached to the outcome of what happens on any given session. If you've done your homework and you've laid your foundation properly, you believe in what you're doing, then you should have a trade plan that you believe in and you've already proven will make you money. Now it's just up to you to execute the plan every day without emotion, because it doesn't matter if today wins or loses. If today wins or loses, it does not mean you made money or lost money. All it means is that you executed your plan properly and you have a proven plan, and it will make you money over time if you just execute it. Whether today wins or loses is like, whether your customer in some other business is happy or sad or happy or mad. And a majority of them will be happy, and every now and then someone will get mad. But you still have a good business. That's how I look at it. Johnny's excited? Good, man. You should be. You got a lot to be excited for. You got so many things to choose from. It's just a matter of picking the one that's best for you. So I am still overseas. I will be here probably until the middle of November. I've extended my trip a bit. My Traderoom Sessions are like right in the middle of the afternoon for me, and it makes it a little awkward. So I can't promise I'm going to be able to stick with my normal Monday, Wednesday schedule the entire time I'm here. I will be here this Wednesday, though. I'll do Wednesday's session. I'll do the crude oil report with you, which I haven't done in a while. Tomorrow, John is unable to make the Tuesday session, so we're going to be dark tomorrow. No Tuesday session, but he tells me that he will be available on Thursday. John, please, if you can just confirm that you're good on Thursday. I don't want to give out false information. For sure, I'll be here Wednesday, though. Next week, I believe. Just looking ahead. Yeah, I'll be here on Monday the 25th. I think I'll be here on Wednesday the 27th. I will let you know. I'm not positive yet, but I will be here Monday. Try to be here Wednesday. Again, John, if you know you're hosting the room on Thursday or not, just type it in and let me know. I'll assume you are unless you tell me otherwise. Johnny Money Pro says, we've looked at 7 and 8 markets today. Do the profits get taxed the same? I need to get a good tax professional now. Well, okay, so first of all, I can't really give you tax advice because I'm not qualified. It's not really what we do here, but I will say this. Futures trading are taxed differently than stocks and equities and Forex. They're different. Futures is easier. Much easier. I think all you have to do is provide the net profit and loss from your broker and hand that over to your accountant. But I can't, again, don't quote me on it. I have my own tax people and I don't really get into it. I hand it over. Also, it depends on how you're structured. So I guess I could offer a few things, a few pieces of advice that kind of falls outside of the realm of tax advice. So John says he's good for Thursday. All right. Just remember, tomorrow we're going to have a dark day. We won't be here. All these are futures except for the pound Aussie in the lower left corner. That's a Forex chart. That's maybe treated a little differently. Don't remember. What I do know about your stocks and options trading is that that's different because there's short-term hold and long-term hold, and you have to have your execute. I just think, I don't know. You're going to have to consult an accountant on that. I'm just not very savvy on that. There are specific trading accountants that you may want to consider. But until you're trading live, I mean, here's a couple things. You may want to consider trading inside of a self-directed IRA or 401k plan or whatever. When I mean self-directed, it gives you the flexibility to do a lot of great things inside of it. A self-directed retirement account, you can trade inside of that, and all proceeds would be either tax-deferred, usually tax-deferred unless it's a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA, you pay the taxes going in, and then it would be tax-free forever when you finally pull the money out. But if you're building for a long-term future or long-term retirement, whatever, depending on how old you are too, you can trade within a tax-deferred account of some sorts. And I advise that if that's appropriate for you. Another thing is that you could be structured in a business in such a way where you have a corporation and an LLC, and you figure out, you need a lawyer for this. I can't give you more advice than just giving you these ideas. But if you structure your business properly, then you have asset protection, you have tax advantages, you can write off expenses, things like that. So it probably pays to speak to somebody, and there is an accounting firm that's well known for traders. I think it's called Trader Accounting or something like that, but you should Google it. You might be able to find a few people you can talk to, but for sure trading within a retirement account is a really good idea. If you can manage it, maybe you can do both. Do some longer term swing trading inside of a tax retirement account. There's a lot of things that you want to consider. And of course, it's different for everybody because we all have specific needs depending on your situation. So it is a business. You want to treat it as such, but here's another thing you want to be very careful of. If you're trading within a business name and you've got your account open in the name of your business, then many of the charting platforms, what happens is the exchanges will will get wind of it. They'll discover that you're trading as Johnny Money Pro LLC, for example, and then they are going to want to charge you professional rates for data, and that could be very expensive. So instead of a discounted bundled rate that the normal home trader gets, they see that you're trading under the name of a business, and now they want to stick you with professional data fees. And that, instead of, I don't know, just pulling numbers out of thin air, but just to give you the dramatic difference, if it costs you $50 a month for a bundled set of data, live data, it might now cost you $500 a month if they consider you a pro. So those are super important considerations. You might want to have a small personal account and then a business account that's another account, a separate account. You get your data in on your personal account. You turn around and you place trades with a different broker in your professional account. There's all kinds of tricks you can do to hopefully not have to pay the professional data fees. You definitely want to do that if you can. Yeah, and the 50 versus 500, again, Johnny, that's just me pulling numbers out of thin air to illustrate the difference. I really don't know what the actual number is, mainly because I've had such a long-term relationship with TradeStation that they actually give me the data. I have an unfair advantage in that regard because I've been calling a trade room for 18 years, and they know that my customers tend to succeed more than the general public, and for that reason they want me to keep using TradeStation to show all these trades and strategies and what have you, and I developed the strategies on TradeStation, so it's worth it for them to give me the data, so they do, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just giving you the differences and what you have to consider when you're setting yourself up, and since you're new, these are important things to actually get right from the start, I think. But you could have more than one account, and you could have more than one broker. And just to even finish this, a lot of times I'll take a trade off TradeStation, which I have set up in my personal name, and I could place it on a trade account that I have with, say, another broker like Thinkorswim, which I have in the name of my business, and I take the trade off of my TradeStation data and I place it on Thinkorswim. And that's, you know, one way to kind of have your cake and eat it too. And it doesn't have to be Thinkorswim. There's plenty of other really great brokers that are probably even better than Thinkorswim. It's just, for me, it's convenient. I have it. I've had it for a long time. But you might try AMP. You might try all kinds. There's all kinds of great trading Forex brokers out there. All right, any other questions? Again, I don't know if you guys are aware, I'm still nursing my vocal cords. I know it's been going on and on and on and on. It's just been a really slow healing process, so I can't overtax it. Unless there's additional questions regarding today's session, I'm probably going to be ending this in a couple minutes. So I guess we can look at our 10 a.m. mini session on crude oil. Yeah, the 10 a.m. mini session doesn't look like it did very well. I mean, this trade here at 10, I don't know when it tapped into that. Sometimes usually when I see a bar with a tiny wick that hits the entry and goes down, it usually means that the bar opened, it went up and down super fast and then down. And if you drill down and look in this bar, like in a 5-second, look at a 5-second chart or look around, chances are that was not tradable is my point. And when you're testing, you want to make sure, because if it's not tradable, you don't want to count it. This one off the blue line definitely loses. And then this one would have won. But again, here you go with your crossover filtered out a winner. There's no way to get in sync with it because it already hit its target. So just if you're in the 10 a.m. session, you're still going. Yeah, other than that, I'm working on some new stuff. I will tell you that much. Can't really tell you what it is yet, but I'm excited. Got some exciting things that I'll be talking about going forward at some point. Does anybody have any specific questions about anything before I say goodbye? Give you guys a moment. Yes, Johnny, very good. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'm not seeing any questions come in, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say goodbye to all of you. Hope you enjoyed the session. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I will see you back here on Wednesday. Have a great day, everybody.